finally decided to pass the awkwardness of just sitting here in front of my camera and basically talking to myself. Anyways, I had a series of very odd dreams a week or two ago, and in the very first dream, I was in an examination hall and I was standing in front of this being that I did not see at all and was telepathically communicating with me. Well, this being tells me that I am being evaluated on everything I have ever known about my life, and about not even my life, everything I have known about life in general, and everything I have ever believed in. And I do so, and I get told that everything I have ever known and believed in was completely wrong. And even in the dream, I was in this state of shock, and I argue back with the being. I ask, how could this be? This is literally all I know. And I don't get an answer because I wake up immediately. And even when I woke up, I was still so sleepy and so tired that I remember thinking to myself, I'm not gonna wake up until I feel like I have fully rested. So I go back to sleep, and in the second dream, I was at the beach with this lady who seemed like a diving instructor or like an ocean conservationist. Anyway, even in the dream, I was getting very sleepy, and I could hear the waves crashing on the shore, and that was making me even sleepier and sleepier. And as the waves were crashing, they were slowly flooding the shore. Basically, it was just rising and rising. And I just kept getting sleepier and sleepier. So I leaned against this lady, and she tells me to not fall asleep or something really bad will happen to me. Except I was so tired that I did not care. I just closed my eyes and I felt the ocean rising up to my chest, my shoulders, my chin, to my ears, until I finally fell asleep. And when I woke up, I was still dreaming. When I woke up, I realized I was being shipped off somewhere, and I was in a container, except I did not have my body at all. I was just this consciousness in a container, and I was being shipped off. And in my panic, I tried to tip the boat over with everything that I have, with everything in my mind, basically. And the boat does tip a little, doesn't tip all the way over. And I finally accept my fate, and that was when I finally properly woke up. And that day I had decided to go swimming with my boyfriend, and I was feeling so horrible that I was practically begging him to let me just stay home. I go anyways, and on the way there I realized that I had been feeling a lot better, and to this day I have not bothered to figure out what the symbolism of these dreams meant. But on the way, I realized that if I had left this as something that I was meaning to do, I would have genuinely felt so horrible throughout the rest of the day. And in the cab ride, I thought of things that I had been meaning to do for quite some time. So the first thing I realized I had been meaning to do was to delete TikTok. Like, it's genuinely been something I feel like had been melting my brain. I was consuming absolute slop on the daily, and it was really doing me no good. And I honestly had no idea why I had been keeping it on my phone for so long. So I did that on the way, and that was when I was reminded of these videos as well. I had been meaning to make small little videos for myself and upload them online, and And there are a few reasons why I have been a bit hesitant to do so. The first is that I do not like it when people have bad intentions towards me. A lot of the things that I could upload here can and will be taken out of context in the hands of people who, well, do not have very good intentions for me. And upon much reflection, I realized that if anything, that sort of fear is doing nothing but holding me back. People who are bound to misunderstand you will misunderstand you anyways, and even if things do get taken out of context, that is still not my responsibility because I have complete control over the things that I curate in this space that I have made for myself. And in all honesty, it only becomes a loss for myself. And that's kind of a losery way to live, I guess, to be scared of what other people would do or say about you, and that actually getting in the way of something that you would genuinely enjoy and like doing. And I don't want to be a loser. Well, that's the first reason. And the second is that I don't think how do I put this? See, I'm struggling with this already. I don't think the words that I speak really translate what I'm really thinking of. And I don't know really how else to explain it. It just doesn't come out very properly or correctly, I suppose. I have been reading Sadhguru's Inner Engineering lately, and there is one bit from the entire book, just one bit that really truly resonated with me, and I'll just look it up and read it. I also saw that language was no more than a conspiracy devised by human beings. If someone spoke, I realized they were only making sounds, and I was making up the meanings. So I stopped making up meanings, and the sounds became very amusing. I could see patterns spewing out of their mouths. If I kept staring, the person would just disintegrate and turn into a blob of energy. Then all that was left was patterns. Well, I feel like even when I talk right now, my understanding of anything that I express would not be the same as your understanding of anything that I'm trying to express. In a sense, it's all really just sound, and this is something that I have felt like I've been struggling with, and it really solidified around the time I was doing my degree and I was up for a presentation. The lecturer was asking me a few questions, and I don't really remember what the presentation was about or anything. I don't remember what his question was either, but in my head I had replied to his question. Well, I had given the correct answer basically, and I was confident with my answer too, and he goes, "Not exactly." And he repeats the same thing back to me, but in much more clearer and I would say a more articulate way. And in that moment I told him that's exactly what I mean. And then that's when it really clicked to me that people don't really understand what I'm trying to say, because, well, whatever's in my head does not translate very well when it's coming out of my mouth. But I shall persevere anyways. It's only just a silly little thing, and I would not want that holding me back either, because in the end this is a small little space that I've created for myself to just look back and find joy in, and just see how much I have progressed. And if anything that I talk about on here resonates with you, then that's lovely. And even if it doesn't, that's very lovely too, honestly. That's all the thoughts I have now, really. Bye bye.